gotta take it slow. You gotta light, let it show. If I said God only knows, would you walk away and laugh? Would you break my heart in half? I guess I'll try to make this fast. You've suffered enough heart attacks, but I'll let the real love last too long for you to take it back. How do you fight when you don't want to be alive? How do you cope when none of your thoughts are nice? Reach out to your friends, try to make amends. You got a good way to cleanse. Think of the means, not the ends. And get the fuck off your phone. Learn how to be alone. If you love, make it known. Either way, you're on your own. You don't have to whine and moan. Now it's time to change the tone. Find the time to get to know yourself. What's the best thing for your mental health? Don't put your emotions on the shelf. If you like it, here, go somewhere. Cause honey, you're a full-grown man. Try to help me understand. If we can't make a plan, find a soft place to land. And I don't wanna hold your hand. The line is drawn in the sand. Why do you lie when you don't wanna be around? Why do I try when all you do is get me down? You say that you're nice, I don't need advice. No matter how you slice it, you're a parasite.
Fishing barrels cower in fear. Open season hunting little deers. NRA! Christ isn't after a single tear. Unthinkable and sincere. NRA! Not really asking, not really asking. I'll use these thoughts in prayer.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to another edition of Live with Lava Sub. You can call me Weston, or really whatever you want within decency. I'm pretty cool with it. I like this game. First and foremost, I just want to say fuck the LAPD and every last one of these goddamn rat bastards. If you're wondering why my audio is all fucked up, it's because there's a fucking police helicopter that's just circling my fucking neighborhood and has been since 9 a.m. Fuck these pigs. I hope they not wishing violence on people is what I'm doing today. Actually, that's not true. I'll probably have to stop myself many more times today because we are talking about the strikes. We are talking about generative artificial intelligence, these scraping sites, and we're going to talk a little bit more about worker stuff, grievances, and what should be commonly seen as workers' rights violations that are not being traditionally recognized as such by major media companies. Very frustrating day today. I also am going to probably groan and complain a lot because yesterday while I was on my bicycle, I went very far and almost wound up at Venice Beach by mistake. And not like I was avoiding it, but just like I've been doing this thing whenever I go out because I still don't really know this city. The pandemic really fucked up my ability to really explore and adventure around the city and learn where I'm fucking going. And since I don't have a car, I ride my bike everywhere. That's the best way for me to do that. And honestly, I like it more than being in a car because I get to kind of take in the sight, stop if I want to, that kind of stuff, you know. It was a recommendation by one of my oldest and bestest, actually my oldest and bestest buddies, Dan, my old drummer from Boilermaker. His mom is a very adventurous woman, very wonderful person that's brought all kinds of joy and creativity into my life. And her recommendation when we originally moved to Reading when I was like 8 or 9, that was her suggestion. I think probably my mom was just like, go out, get lost. When you just take random turns wherever, eventually find some kind of restaurant, a bar, anything. Go in, hang out for a few minutes, and then find your way home. This was before, this was in the early 90s, so this was way before, GPS. I'm not even sure how good map sites were at that. My mom used to navigate using the regular old, I can't remember the name of the company, but they had a series of maps on localities and states, US, very detailed maps to help people travel and find their way around places they were unfamiliar. So that's what I've been doing. I've been doing that for a while. I really enjoy kind of continuing this branching kind of de-shrouding the fog of war like in old Age of Empires games. I love doing it, so I almost wound up at Venice yesterday, and when I realized it was 7, I needed to turn around and head home. I have lights on my bike, but I knew a bunch of the streets that I had gone down to get to where I was weren't necessarily the most bike friendly, and the later it gets, even with lights, less people are going to be understandable about your position on the road with a bicycle. I don't like riding on sidewalks. I've talked about it in multiple streams. It really pisses me off when people do this to dangerous pedestrians. It's ridiculous to deal with if you're disabled and maybe immobilized, use a wheelchair or other kind of devices to help you keep mobile. It pisses me off, especially when I see adult-ass, grown-ass fucking people doing it, because it bothers me. So I never do that. So I'm always on the road when I'm riding around on my bike, and so I try and be aware of the fact that even if I feel like I have every right to be there, maybe people in cars don't feel the same way, and I have been sideswiped. I got hit by a car one of my first years in Santa Rosa. It wasn't like that necessarily, but it was pretty fucking frustrating. Anyway, I am aware. I am maybe hyper aware when I'm on my bike riding around, which is fine. But so I keep delaying the point of the story. I was talking about my fucking back. I turn around, head home. I'm at a stoplight a few blocks after I had gotten going the other direction, and I go to start pedaling at this stoplight as it turns green. And as soon as I started putting my leg down, pedal, and I had my bike in a pretty high gear, so there was a little bit of just natural resistance there, but I just felt hot fire right up my lower back. It was intense. And I knew I had around 10 miles or so, give or take, to get back to my house. So I was like, alright, well, this is fucked. I could get a lift if it gets really bad, but I'm gonna have to power through this. I really don't have money for a lift right now. Anyway, so my lower back is on fire. I have no idea what happened. My roommate said it might be a nerve thing, it might be an age thing, and I was like, I'm 36, it's definitely both. And not definitely, it's almost for sure. But yeah, so I'm taking it easy for a couple of days because I want to get back out there and how close I realized I lived to Venice. Venice is one of the only places in LA I spent like any amount of time in as an adult in this area. Like I had a family member that lived in Venice, on Venice Beach, very close to the beach. When I was in my 20s, and I helped him move down here, and I think I spent like a week or so down in LA, down in the Venice area, helping him move and hanging out, seeing the sights. So now that I know how close I live, I'll probably go there a lot. Definitely easy bike ride. The way that I found to go was a really direct route, very little like incline, a lot of actually downhill, and an easy route to go on my way back to avoid some of the heavy inclines that I was going down. Anyway, so I'm probably going to go hang with them. I've always wanted to sell art on Venice Beach because that's like something that people do around here. And speaking of art, we're working on some art today because that's what we do here on Tuesdays. We're working on physical medium, street, and I'm going to be talking about, as I've said, writer's strike, talking about workers' rights, we're talking about, I'm going to try and not, most of you know, I'm an actor. I've been acting since I was little. I've done so much performing as an artist, both as an actor, as a musician, doing live art to other bands. Performances is a huge part of my life. And I have read through the guidelines that SAG and the striking workers have kind of like asked of influencers, and I am going to stick to those in solidarity with them. So we're not going to be talking a lot about media. I just want to talk about workers. So yeah, that's what we're going to be chatting about. There's a lot of really wonderful people out there striking. Some people using their privilege and high visibility in the media to really speak out against these greedy capitalists running the industry right into the ground. So I'm excited to get into that. So before any further ado, let's get it. Been thinking about this very aggressively. Like, not like my thinking about this piece. It's like very, I know exactly what I want to do or anything like that. But I've been very angry and dealing with pain, which, you know, usually gets me a little bit more crabby. So I've been thinking about some very aggressive looking art, something that's very, maybe a little, I hesitate to use the word violent, but if we're simplifying here, that's probably the best word to use. My initial idea was to draw Ron Perlman punching Bob Iger in the face and beating his ass, because it's me. And if you want me to do that in the future, I will, but I decided to stick with the physical medium stuff because I feel like, I mean, I don't know if I talked about this on the program, just a little peek behind the curtain. It's a lot easier for me to focus on a physical piece than it is not necessarily having this connection with you where I can see what you want me to work on. I did. So that's where I'm at, just in case you were curious why I've been doing this long streak of physical mediums. I like talking. I like having this back and forth chat. I like questions, and I like being able to interface with people. And, you know, I think in the name of entertainment, just bare minimum, it's nice not to have so much dead air. I think in the digital pieces, you definitely get a lot more. Well, we always have music in the background, but it's not technically dead air. You know, what am I even here if I can't be entertained? So one of the last things I found out right before the stream was something pretty interesting. I just found out that in Nevada, Colorado, Texas, and Utah, workers at In-N-Out are going to be banned from wearing masks. Of course, In-N-Out workers at California, in California and in Oregon are going to continue to be allowed to protect themselves by wearing masks if they choose to. This isn't a mandatory thing. It wasn't like up until today, all In-N-Out workers masked up all of the time and as mandatory kind of thing. I think this is pretty grim. Quote the company memo leaked on Twitter this month. We are introducing a new mask guideline that emphasizes the importance of customer service and the ability to show our associates smiles and other facial features while considering the health and well-being of all individuals. First of all, I want to point out their use of the word our associates. Taking the associates almost completely out of the realm of not just their individual personalities or even their position as workers, but as people that In-N-Out claims to collectively speak for. And not only speak for, but a admission, subtle, unintentional maybe, admission that they are ours. We own them. We control them. We are allowed to dictate their behavior. This is particularly frustrating to see as someone who's worked in fast food places, has worked in burger joints, and other food service jobs. I've talked a lot about my history on the program, so you will probably have heard some of this stuff before, but them wanting to demand their workers show their smiles and other facial features. This is pretty fucked up. I don't know if you know this, but the pandemic is not over. COVID is still killing people. People are still contracting long COVID. This isn't even with vaccine. And obviously, I think you know, I'm not in any way anti-COVID vaccine. Nor am I even an opponent of mask mandates or COVID mandates. I think, or vaccine mandates, I think both of those at least help us get further out of constantly having to deal with COVID up until capitalists and government legislators decided that they didn't care anymore. It was time for us workers to get back to it. Time to get back to work. No more social assistance getting us through the pandemic. It's time to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get back to work. Get back into the shirtwaist. Back to the shirtwaist factory. Exactly. So, so we have an infectious disease expert, Dr. Judy Stone, criticizing the burger chain and their new anti-mask policy and how it goes against the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's COVID-19 recommendations, and it puts the employees at risk. So yeah, I think hopefully we will see some of these In-N-Out workers joining many of the other workers in this country on the line, because this is disgusting abuse of their power or removal of their working autonomy, and as you said, they yes, I think it's interesting because in food service, even before there was ever COVID, I saw people wearing masks. You can go into, and if not masks, all kinds of other protective gear, gloves, hairnets, things of that nature that prevent germs passing from employees to customers. Masks are a simple, easy, not harmful. I want to emphasize not fucking harmful to the people wearing them, and also help everyone, help the customers, help your coworkers, help everyone else not get sick, not have cross-contamination in the food or in the workplace. So it's to Sam's point, you know, why would you want to go into a restaurant where your chances of getting COVID increase? The only reason that you would be okay with this is if you have gone completely down the fucking COVID conspiracy rabbit hole and think any number of absolute lies that you have been told by conservative grifters over the last couple of years. There is no other explainable, rational reason. Anybody else, anybody refusing to believe that, I mean, COVID is real and it's not a invention of some world government or secret cabal that does not exist, you crazy people. Yeah, this is just argument. This is just managing a crisis in a responsible way, and that it was previously put on individuals in the first place is a huge red flag that shows that the United States and in many other places not only don't care about the workers, do not care about the lower classes, but are also using the same logic and applying it to other crisis level events that we're experiencing as people living on this planet, such as climate denial and climate change. The idea that it is on me to reduce my amount of plastic use and cut up the plastic six-pack holders, things of that nature, which absolutely, I have spent a lot of my time cutting up, in my lifetime, cutting up the fucking six-pack holders and taking things out for recycling, even when I know the chance of my recycling actually getting to a recycling facility is slim to none most of the time I do it. But is it better than putting it directly into the landfill? I'm just trying to be as responsible as I can, and that is exactly my point. That no matter how responsible you are, there is no amount of carbon footprint reduction you could do as an individual that will have any amount of genuine, real-life, real-world impact when 100 companies on the planet fighting against restrictions have the responsibility completely on them and will never actually be held to account for it. The majority of our issues with pollution that are causing climate crisis are happening because of unregulated capitalism. So, just trying to point that out. So yeah, I think it's not being talked about quite as much, but there's quite a few strikes going on in the U.S. at the moment. Not only is SAG and the WGA on strike, but sorry, I think the cats are beating each other on board right now. I've got a guilty cat. Look at that guilty cat running away. Guilty. beating up his little brother. It's so funny. That cat, I love Sam. He's one of the sweetest cats ever. But he's the biggest cry bully. He'll sit there and like little brother Ash will be sitting there like all curled up and like, I don't want no smoke. Look at my belly. I'm trying to be nice. And Sam will be sitting there crying and just slapping him in the head. Like he's in danger. Silliest cat. Sorry for the abrupt interruption. I just little guy can't defend himself yet. I feel bad. I don't know if Jackson Galaxy would tell me to break up the fight. I would do it for my friends. So I'm gonna do it for the cats too. Sad, I don't like it. Speaking of sad, and I don't like it, I think I want to redirect your attention back to a few months ago. Seems like forever ago, but just a very short period of time ago, we had this old, senile, decrepit fuck in the White House named Joe Biden, who signed a bill to block a strike with the railroad workers that would have given them much better working conditions in so many different ways. And this absolute capitulating coward and his bullshit administration came to Capitol. And I have nothing but wishes for the worst possible outcome for all of these people's lives. It is incredibly harmful to the workers' rights movement and cause in a very sweeping and general kind of way when a president takes action. It is breathtaking, and it is just an unjustifiable harm done to workers who are seeking better working conditions and equitable treatment at the workplace. If you have ever been in a workplace environment that was harmful to you, that allowed things to happen that should not have happened, you know how psychologically, physically damaging this can be to a worker. Be in a position where your breaks are restricted or taken entirely. Anybody who's worked in food service knows this exact kind of frustration. And it's not just any isolated industry. When I worked retail, similar things would happen, especially on like inventory days where you work a 12-hour shift through the night and are given like pizza and they get you food from fucking 7-Eleven or some shit and expect that to be a way that they can just ask you not to take breaks so you can work 12 hours straight scanning. In my case, one case that I remember very clearly, scanning every movie in the Blockbuster I was working at for the inventory. So yeah, railroad workers are still in a tedious position, still fighting for their rights, but their fight is going to be much more protracted than it has any business being. I also want to remind you about Christopher Small's Amazon labor union. I'm constantly admiring their work and how much they went through to get their concessions made by their and for just their union to exist in the first place, just to be recognized as a legitimate union. Yeah, and with such a big company like Amazon, also the owner of Twitch, I think that with especially all of the horrendous working conditions that we have been privy to, not including all of the who knows how many testimonials that other workers working in Amazon warehouses that never got hurt. We're in a great period of workers breaking decades of silence at this point, and striking on levels we haven't seen in a very, very long time. And, you know, I try not to let my imagination run too wild, but with, we have Amazon, we have the railroad workers, we have SAG-AFTRA and Writers Guild, we have Amazon, we have UPS workers, Teamsters. Now, the Teamsters, UPS has not officially gone on strike, but they are definitely threatening a strike. But yes, ultimately still reaching for the same general causes as most workers in the country. And I want to believe we're getting closer to the idea of general, the social acceptability that is required for work. So I hope that's what we're doing. We also have California healthcare workers going on strike. Especially one not too far from me at Cedars-Sinai. Workers there are striking. Many of these strikes are teaming up with each other already, giving even more crossover with worker solidarity in different industries. And that's exactly the kind of thing we need to work towards a general strike. So I think, you know, that, as I said, this administration is dangerous and poses an extreme threat to the cause of workers' rights, better working conditions, more equitable pay, things of that nature. And by no stretch of the imagination is this to say that a Republican presidency would be any worse or any better than Biden administration towards workers. In fact, that is my point. We have a one-party system in the United States, and that party is capitalism. None of their supposed beliefs actually translate to any real-world change. There is no hope if we continue running people like Joe Biden. Now, am I going to probably support Joe Biden in 24? Almost for sure. More than likely going to be the again, to my Donald Trump, Joe Biden reboot is almost for sure coming to us. And this frustrates me to know. Because we deserve better. We deserve actual accountability in our politicians. We deserve a politician looking out for the workers rather than the capital. We need a president that's not going to break strikes or drop the mother of all bombs on civilians. You know, not a fan of really either of the major political parties, states, because ultimately, I don't see enough of a difference to really draw any actual distinctions between them. I understand people who are smarter than me and will do that, but for me, I think that's a lot of extra steps to just say they're both fucking terrible and we don't need we're not going to get a better deal out of either. What we need there. told you, feeling a little aggro today. Back hurts. Fucking whining above my roof, making all kinds of noise for no fucking reason. You see something taking shape here, right? Who do you like? Well, I think there is this as an emoji. I just, it is, I cannot, I'm sorry, Sam, it is not a booty. But I understand the sentiment. Please watch. Find some stuff here. You know, we all see what we want to see in art. I'm a big believer in that kind of energy within art. So, you know, if you see a butt, you see a butt. I'm not going to try and debate you on it. Oh, I will cover it there. Oh, I will say that you wish it was butt. That's on you. We can appreciate it. I think we all love a nice big booty. I know I. I do also like Yogi. I might like Yogi more than Jacob. Jacob has been on record saying he doesn't really like Yogi. Said Yogi like one time, and everyone was like, Jacob loved Yogi. I genuinely love Yogi. He's one of my favorite things to eat. I don't know. Yogi, or granola, maybe some fresh fruit, yummy meat. I love that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, I think the yolk plays with like a little bit of fruit, like preserves and things like that. Those are pretty good. But most yogurts, I'm like, it can be as plain as it can be. You don't necessarily like plain, like a little bit of sweetness from honey or something like that. I'm for it. But especially because a lot of the time I'm adding like granola, fresh fruit, things like that. I want like a more just yogurt. I'm just looking for the yogurt part. I'll do the rest of it myself. You know, I do mess with Greek yogurt, but I think most Greek people would look at my my favorite Greek yogurts and be like, "Bitch, that ain't yogurt," which is valid. Yeah, lots of places in the Mediterranean have a great appreciation for children. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Keep dropping that one. Oh no, it broke. So, has anyone figured out what I'm actually drawing? That it isn't a butt. If it's not a butt, you can answer. But if you think it's a butt, hold on. Wait for someone else to answer. Sam, I'm looking at you. Yeah, if chat says it, I'll turn this into a butt. Weston Semantics in chat just said it's a butt. The Lurky Loos have spoken by their lack of speaking. They have said it is not a butt. That's what I'm taking it as. Also, I don't want to turn this into a butt. Does anyone see a boxing glove yet? That's what I've been doing this whole time. Thank you. What's going on in boxing last week? I do love boxing. Yeah, but does anyone know what Boxing Day actually is? I've never bothered. My anti-Canadian racism show. Okay. Why do they call it Boxing Day then? Yeah. Oh fuck, I'm sad now. I'm gonna miss Chris and all my boys. Goofy little guys. Yeah, if you haven't heard, Iron Hearts, I think I mentioned it last week, but in case you weren't here, Iron Hearts is taking a break. We won't be coming back to those characters for a minute. We just haven't been able to schedule regularly enough. a lot of the guys are busy with school or being dads, any number of other individual projects that can't really be interrupted as much as they would like to schedule games of D&D. So we're on break with the Iron Hearts for a minute. Yeah, it sucks because we just got back. You know, we were on hiatus for a minute, and then we were ready to gear up and have a bunch more episodes for you all. But now, you know, would you want to watch just me as a player in a game that used to have 7 people or 8 people in the party? I wouldn't. Me personally, as a consumer of actual plays, I would like to watch the full party. And as a player, I would like to have all of my buddies playing the characters that we've been playing for years with each other. But yeah, I mean, I gotta respect that you're, you know, you got. I don't want to. I mean, I'll just leave it at, you know, fatherhood. Like, I gotta respect my buddies trying to be the best dads they can be, and provide for their families. And yeah, I mean, we all love D&D. No doubt in my mind that they all absolutely adore this game, playing together and stuff. And if situations were different, they would be in every game with us, having a blast. But sometimes priorities change. That's just the way it goes. You gotta respect it when your friends have, you know, different goals than you, different motivation, different things you're all reaching. Recognize the fact that in many ways, as different as the individual pursuit can be from each other, ultimately we're all working towards very similar things. Oh, let me shine in here. Oh no! That's it. Let's throw the background on here and follow this beat. Oh, you know what we could do? Maybe I'll throw in some text or something. Good old text, huh? I'm handwriting text and copy. Little double entendre. Because a punch is known as a strike. What do I got? We want something to pop this, make this red really pop. Thinking yellow and orange. We could hit the other end of the color spectrum, do some green. Yeah, let's look like a green. Yeah. You're so poopy today. I was not close. So Sam just asked, how close was I getting to my SAG card? Not close. Um, you need to fit a pretty strict criteria to become SAG. It's not that strict, but it is if you are trying to receive all of the benefits of being a union actor. So I honestly I haven't checked in a long time, so my numbers might not be correct. But I know that yeah, I mean, let me look it up real quick. That's easy to do. I don't know. I definitely don't know offhand. Okay. Oh. Of course it did. My it's taking a nap. Give me a sec. But yeah, ultimately in recent years, I think it has become older or easier to join. Sam was saying you have to be in X amount of TV shows or kind of talking about as they remember the criteria. And I think since I looked into it, I think since they looked into it, they changed a little bit. Might be a little bit easier to get in, but like I know one of the talking points I've seen a lot of actors talking about is how most actors aren't making the 26,000 a year. I think that is required for you to get union health care. And these exactly, yeah. I've got the paper back. My internet is bad. just looked up. Okay. Well, I mean, first of all, you gotta pay the dues. The initiation fee is $3K. So the most common way is to get hired on gig. Sam said something along those lines. You get cast in a feature film or something of that nature. This is the most common way, is to get booked on a union gig. As a independent or new media person, you can actually become a member of SAG-AFTRA, which I guess I didn't even know. If you're producing your own work and have the budget to be considered under one of the union's categories, you can make yourself SAG-AFTRA. If you're capable of hiring other union actors on your project too, you can join a sister union, such as Equity, ACTRA, AGMA, AGVA, and you will be eligible for SAG after 1 year of membership and one principal contract. And then the rest of this is about getting your card. Mostly make it count. I should provide evidence for documentation for a pay of contract, things like that. So yeah, it's relatively easy, especially if you are working regularly. But there's also, beyond the reality of it, which is SAG isn't going to necessarily help me like a lot of trade labor unions are going to help me. In the way that they'll help me get through times of not working, they'll help me get through this isn't to say they don't do this, but this isn't exclusively their modus operandi. You're not going to be able to find extra or more work through that union like you would if you were like an electrician. However, it is, and there's all kinds of, I've encountered no shortage of people, especially in the theater community, that talk a lot about how SAG-AFTRA is not worth it, and a lot of the things they cite are just disinformation or things that they've been told by anti-union weirdos until over the course of their life. Mostly older people who I'm talking about that I've encountered on sets. But they do, the thing is I think it's worth analyzing just claiming membership to how that is a powerful thing in terms of your place in a collective of artists in the same guild. The idea of a guild goes back, I don't even know how long ago, deep into history. Typically, this kind of workers' formation helps keep everyone honest, and helps keep workers in touch with other people in their industry to provide advice, assist in some ways, to make sure you're getting the equal pay as everybody, make sure that everybody is being treated equitably, make sure that your bosses aren't violating your rights, and having recourse if that does happen. Being able to have someone to go to and tell them what you've been going through and how it is not helping you, or how it is hurting you and your coworkers. So yeah, if you're union, that's one of the big ones. Is they help make sure that jobs are enforced to pay a minimum fee for your work. You are guaranteed minimum payments for different kinds of projects, and the minimum pay rates for it is something that they're going to check. So yeah, I've never been close to actually being union. I've never worked in union. I've never worked a union job. Westworld was not union. I'm sure many of the people on that set were union, but background actors did not have to be. Which is funny because it's about a dystopia. Yeah, that job was. I did some background in Westworld, and no, that job was not union. It did not bring me closer to union eligibility. And that was the only one, huh? Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. If you are union, you aren't allowed to work non-union gig. If you aren't union, you are allowed to work both. And so moving down here, and not really having any kind of firm footing, and my only access to work wasn't through any kind of like talent agency that with someone who was representing me, looking out for my best interest, trying to get me work. I was going to the castings, which have jobs for both, and trying to be a working actor, getting, trying to work towards getting paid enough to afford to live down here. That is a huge, that's a huge hurdle that a lot of people face when they live here. Is just having your bare necessities met. And so yeah, knowing that, I wasn't necessarily looking into joining the union as much as I would like to be in a workers' union for the protections that come with it. It also would have prevented me from seeking work, like student productions and things of that nature, which were the majority of what was being offered on a lot of the casting. So, frustrating reality to deal with, unfortunately. I have. I've sought out agents since even before I moved down here. I don't know why. Probably because of things I say on the internet, but wanted to represent me. Is that going to change how I behave? Absolutely. The thing I realized a long time ago was I'm not palatable to most audiences. And I've been living in a world where I have to do it myself in virtually every way possible. Do I want to? Absolutely not. I would love to have people looking out for me, have some assistance, especially where it comes to finding work. But I'm not going to sacrifice my ability to say whatever the fuck I'm not going to give that up for anyone or anything. I think, it's I was never going to be someone who was taken in and made a celebrity by the system that wants pretty crystal clean people unless they're wildly racist Republican. They want people with, you know, not as many controversial statements as I have. And, you know, also, most of the things that a lot of the negative shit I have to say on the internet does tend to be about media and media conglomerates. And, you know, I don't imagine Disney would want to hire me for anything, considering how much I charge. Wow. Yeah, it has evidence by Ezra Miller. Warner Brothers is just gonna let. Well, actually, they do care. Just they're fine if you're like a weirdo quote leader, or have done crimes and hurt people. That's not important. But if you're outspoken leftist, you tend not to be able to work in entertainment. There's a few of us, but not many. Speaking of outspoken leftists, anybody want to kiss Ron Perlman more than you do? I sure do. Ron Perlman's, his statement to, that he put out the other day and immediately picked up anyway because it was so amazing. I knew I was in for some legendary shit the moment he said, "Listen, motherfucker." I was just like, oh, this man's about to go off. Dad's about to get mad right now. And he did. I absolutely, I'm a big proponent of when people are exploiting a large portion of society, that we should take all of their belongings and their home apart brick by fucking brick. And Ron Perlman seems to be in the same boat as me, which I feel alone in this a lot of the times. Just me and a bunch of other unhinged leftists on the internet no one listens to, even though we're constantly correct about our vision of where things are going. Because this is a playbook. It's been played out before throughout history. You just have to, like, I've read some stuff and challenged a lot of assumptions and things that we were taught as kids about our nation and about the world and its history. Ron Perlman's a really fascinating dude. The guy is, you know, comes from a working class background and made his bones with directors like Guillermo del Toro and Kronos. And other things like that. And he's worked with all kinds of very interesting filmmakers, as well as, obviously, in major productions. We don't have to actually. I think part of the guidelines for influencers or whatever. I'm not an influencer, but I make digital content. But I think it's the same thing. It's not talking about struck productions or companies that are being struck right now. So we're not going to talk about the specifics of his career too much. Cronus is a really old one, but either way, so it's his outspokenness has always been kind of in the background until more recent years, especially with like a lot of the kind of more weirder, cringier shit that he said during the Trump presidency. His career is made. You know, there's not a whole lot you can do to Ron Perlman at this point to take away his career. The man's in his early 70s. I don't think he's planning on doing it too much longer anyway. But it's consistently really interesting to me where workers' rights and civil rights movements are concerned. Who's on our side and who isn't? We have like literally the picture of the literally the Chad meme, Ron Perlman, this absolute fucking beastly Neanderthal, this huge, powerful presence, absolutely on the side of workers, with no room for argument whether or not that's the case. We have, like, I don't know if anyone saw this, it's not necessarily workers' rights stuff, but earlier today I was reading Charles Barkley was recently quoted talking to a crowd, and Charles Barkley saying something along the lines of, I have to look it up. It was so good. Basically, guy was like, listen, nobody can cancel me. I'm Charles fucking Barkley. There's nothing you can do to me. I'm not going anywhere. Which is like a talking point a lot of leftists online use, because no matter how many times you cancel Tucker Carlson or Ben Shabibo, they're not going anywhere. They're just talking about people who are mean to them on the internet because they're fucking pantywaist. They're babies. They're unable to take any kind of criticism without shrinking inside their little rage and petulantly pissing and moaning. They're cowards, and they can't fight. Meanwhile, we have Chads like Charles Barkley and Ron Perlman and Son Piker, who are big, tough dudes, saying things like workers' rights and trans rights and shit. Yeah, that was what Barkley was saying, was can't cancel me. There's nothing you can do to me. Loudly proclaiming trans rights. Then, okay. Okay, so he was at a celebrity golf tournament, and took a public stance on the Bud Light, Dylan Mulvaney trans rights stuff. I just want to say this. Barkley could be heard saying, I want y'all to drink this fucking beer. I want y'all to drink this fucking beer. I've got 3 cases of Bud Light. And I want to say this. If you're gay, bless you. If you're transgender, bless you. You have a problem with that? Fuck you. Very clear messaging from Charles Barkley here. Very direct messaging. You could take away all his opportunities and he would just spend the rest of his life playing golf. That's what the man is saying. You know, if you're at all aware of Charles Barkley's basketball career, which I was, as a child, a huge fan of Charles Barkley, you know that guy has a history of saying exactly what the fuck he wants to say, in exactly the way he wants to say it. Sometimes getting in big trouble with the regulatory boards of like FCC, I think, yeah, things like that. Charles Barkley would just say what the fuck he wants, and I love him for this. He's just such a huge, powerful, tough dude. I mean, God, how many fights did Charles Barkley get into in the NBA while he was playing games and shit? The man is just a huge brick of a human being. And I love these big, in a similar way to Ron Perlman. This is like, I think when people with a lot of like social capital and the privilege that comes with that use that to stand up for people who are being marginalized, who are being publicly discriminated against, I think that's one of the best ways to use your privilege. That is what ultimately an ally looks like. Using your privilege as someone who isn't being marginalized in a certain way to stand up for the people who are being marginalized in a certain way. In a similar way, we have, Jane Fonda, Susan Sarandon, these women have been standing up for what's right for literally their entire careers. We absolutely adore Jane Fonda and Susan Sarandon on this broadcast. Anybody slandering them will get double tapped and will be summarily executed, exorcised from this plane of existence. So, someone who I've been watching for a really long time, Adam Conover, has been doing a really incredible job documenting this strike for the writers and the actors. Either making TikToks, going live, talking to other creatives in the industry, talking specifically about how it affects them. Adam is, talking to the LA City Council. Adam has been an incredible advocate during this strike. I think one of many people who are using their visible public profile to draw attention to this cause. And I think that's a really powerful thing that we don't normally see very often unless it is very low stakes and won't affect their work. What Adam has been doing and what many other creatives in the industry are doing, the things that they've been saying, the things they've been talking, can genuinely affect their ability to continue working. We've seen blacklists in the entertainment industry. Even before McCarthyism, if we're being honest with ourselves, people were blacklisted for being queer and all kinds of other, speaking up when they were being abused. Either blacklisted or, like, in the case of, like, Judy Garland, had drugs pumped into them until they went absolutely, until they lost their life, ultimately. That's where it ends up. Not to mention all the people blacklisted, and by blacklisted I mean 6 feet under, for any number of reasons, some of which just being abused was enough, or being harmed and was enough for them to be buried somewhere in the Las Vegas desert that no one will ever know where they went. So it is inspiring to see a lot of these well-known people standing up for workers that they will probably never actually interact with on set. Background actors and bit players who come in and get a low-wage day rate and are there, in a lot of cases, longer than just about anybody that's not in the crew. Longer than a lot of the actors, longer than a lot of the leads, things like that. Background actors a lot of the time work, way over the 8 hours that most people consider a workday. And I need you to understand, most of the time, that isn't just like, you're not just standing there waiting around for nothing to happen. In many cases, like some of the background that I've done, you're literally having to run from 50, 100, maybe more yards. Doing background in Westworld meant I was pushing up against like I was a rioter in some of the Westworld background footage. And that night I got to set around like 6, and I think that first night I did like 12 hours, half of my activity that we were doing was just running back and forth on the spot for a lot of that 12 hours at one place or another, running to one place or another, or in some cases, literally pushing up against like riot shields that other extras, some of them actual fucking sheriff's department officers and cops, in their full, fascist regalia, pushing back against, and this is, a lot of the kinds of things, especially in the modern era of television and film, where so much of it is action-oriented. That's more and more becoming the case. And even when you are, on some sitcom, standing around in the background at like a kid's soccer game or something like that, you're still standing there sometimes in the sun, not necessarily able to have full autonomy of your ability to eat, drink, and take care of your other necessities, go to the bathroom, take care of other necessities until, someone calls cut and you're allowed to get off of, get out of that performance mode and go take a small break, get a drink of water before you're called right back to it. These are not necessarily easy jobs, even if it is just standing around, background work. And I think acting in general, I don't think people really give it the credit for the physical kind of labor that it tends to be. Are we longshoremen? No, absolutely not. Unless you're an extra as a longshoreman, in which case you might actually be a real longshoreman, because who else are they going to cast? But especially down here. I mean, it is pretty interesting how often certain workers in certain industries will be reached out to specifically try and put them in film and television programs to add to the realism of the moment. Actors never held a fire hose or whatever. Probably going to do a couple of things just minorly different than firemen. And you can see that, I mean, come to my neighborhood, hang out for a couple of days, we'll walk around and I'll show you some of the firemen that are hanging out in my neighborhood, and every time I see them, they are like the TV picture image of what a fireman looks like. Big mustache, broad shoulders, Kurt Russell in Backdraft, basically. Anyway, I gotta take a quick break, where I'm gonna get this chalk from my last drawing all over this piece, and I don't want that to happen. Maybe a little compulsory behavior, but I'm gonna go do it real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I have yet to start the second drawing. Got my punch out. What's next? Alright. Let's get into it. You know, I might go back to pencil. I was going to just start with the chalk here. I think I'm going to sharpen up some of these shapes. Some of these look like penises. Oops. Not drawing peeners on the screen. Huh? Yeah. Not trying to draw wieners on the screen today. Twitch doesn't approve of me drawing wieners. For sure. Oh, right, I forgot. I was gonna be an absolute bitch and just do the thing no one wants me to do and say I fucking told you. I fucking told you so. What was it? Last October, I was talking about how, oh shit, AI is booming right now. This is bad for a lot of us, artists especially, people who use this, who gain a lot of their yearly income during this time of the year, especially artists. This is it's already stealing artists' jobs. It's taking away our autonomy to accept work. It's stealing from us. It's not compensating or even asking for consent to use our work, and it's scraping. And everybody was like, I think we'll have fun, Weston. Why are you such a downer all the time? I just want to tell you right now, fuck you! Fuck you! I mean, listen. Maybe next time you won't have to wait until fucking Matt Damon tells you it's wrong. Fucking dork. I'm sure most of you in this audience are not necessarily who I'm talking to right here. But it really pisses me off that I've been talking about this for months. Artists all over the fucking planet have been talking about this for almost a year. And some, even before that, when AI was starting to get introduced, over a year. You know, AI has been booming for over a year. And people have been talking about it literally the entire time. Some of us needed a little more convincing. Me being one of those, that how harmful this was. And it wasn't until I heard data scraping, stable diffusion, things of that nature, that I really started realizing how bad it was going to get, and how it would just continue to get worse and worse for it. I'm super proud of a lot of people who, it was just a Senate hearing on AI. Many artists that I've been following that speak out against AI, and have been incredibly informative in disseminating information through their social media accounts about AI, were there to talk to our political and make the case against AI. So there is hope, especially with that going on, with writers and actors both having talking about AI in a way that's and how it will affect them. I don't know if you were aware of this, but one of the things that was trying to get pushed through during negotiations was this clause about how specifically background actors were going to be treated. They wanted to start scanning us, giving us a 1-day pay rate, and then using our likenesses in any background for perpetuity. This was something they tried to sneak through, and they have continually tried to implement AI in the arts over and over again. And it's only because of people fighting for our rights and our abilities to continue working and not ruin this fucking industry in the name of capital, is it not happening right now, right here. So if you ever used Lensa, if you ever used Midjourney, if you were ever one of these people who would use these technologies without any thought how it would affect workers, fuck you. You were wrong. and I fucking feel bad about it. I have to think about it next time. Workers in the industry are telling you, hey, this thing is affecting us, and instead of being a little fuck about it, you can actually just listen because they're an expert and you're a fucking idiot. The big problem in this country is dumbass motherfuckers thinking they're goddamn fucking experts on shit. And never wanting to admit they're wrong. I mean, that's America's apple pie. I keep wanting to talk shit about different things going on, different, like a related topic, but talks about a certain production, and not, I cannot, I don't think that I should. I don't know if I can do that. It might be okay. Well, yeah, definitely can. Yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating that even with all of this public outcry and resistance by from the workers themselves, it's frustrating to see certain companies, very major companies, using AI within their programming. Even now, there's at least a couple of things that have been using these underhanded and, in my opinion, unethical methods of getting work done that takes away work from laborers. Yeah, absolutely. Good art takes time. It takes a lot of concentrated effort. It takes a lot of people all working in synchronicity, in sync with each other. It takes a lot of humbling of egos in many cases. Good art does not happen once per business quarter, and certainly not dozens of times per business quarter, as some of us are under the belief that is just how media works. It absolutely is not. Good art takes a long time. It takes a lot of workers putting a lot of effort into certain projects that would never get done if it wasn't for them. And so, yeah, to Sam's point, absolutely. I think people need to get used to the media cycle being a little less insane. I don't think it's necessarily healthy or good for the industry or the people in it that, the media cycle, a new media cycle starts every 3 weeks. Talking about whatever big major platform and their products are coming out. Yeah. YouTube, we call those comments. Yeah. And we kind of roast them for it, especially when it's not that good and they're pushing too much out at once for it to be and it's pushing it too hard, it's, trying to put out too much, and ultimately the quality suffers, the people suffer, people who are making it suffer. Yeah, I think Sam is absolutely right. I think that this expectation of constant media is unrealistic, especially from 4 companies on the fucking planet. And almost, you could almost just reduce it down to one. One company whose CEO is an absolute dumb motherfucker. Who I want to see Ron Perlman destroy his house brick by brick. Alright, that's fine. Like, we were talking about how Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk should fight, like, a week ago. And now I just want to see Bob Iger absolutely get dumped on by Ron Perlman. I could give a fuck less about... I mean, honestly, the Elon and Zuckerberg fight, it's not even a fight. It's Zuckerberg beating the hell out of Elon. Because Elon doesn't train in jiu-jitsu, and Mark Zuckerberg has been training in, the BJJ for years at this point. And if you've seen any of his recent photos, he's got a couple of like shirtless photos he did with some UFC fighters and stuff like that. The guy is fucking shredded. Any recent topless photos of Elon, the man looks like a fridge. And I don't mean that in a way like he could take a box. I mean that in a way like he goes to the fridge a lot. I'm not body shaming anybody, but who really shouldn't be body shaming anybody? A person who looks like Elon Musk. And yet, not a day goes by, not a single fucking day, goes by when the Emerald Prince doesn't have some fucking dumb incel shit to say about trans people, about women, people living their lives, and trying to be as happy as they can, while the spoiled baby cries on the internet on a $42 billion website that he was forced to buy because he's an idiot and bad at business. Anyway, yeah, so Elon's gonna lose that fight to Mark Zuckerberg. Anyone who says he's not, it's just a simp, and that's pretty pathetic. You simping for Elon? God, I don't know how you get lower than that, really. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people who didn't, get mad negative vibes from Elon to the point where they looked up anything about Elon, but Elon's been a fucking garbage man since day one. It's just like the PR team was stronger at one point before Elon went full-blown fascist. I don't know, man. I've never liked a white person from South Africa. Can I be real? Call me what you want, but I think it's it's pretty weird to be a white person proud of being South African. And, you know, obviously there are exceptions to the rule, but none of them are Elon Musk or Dracus Duplessis or any of these fucking idiots that are born out of European, land ownership and benefiters of apartheid or exploitation of the land. I think those people should have been strung up a long time ago, and none of their families here today. Personally, my belief, I hope they all have bad. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I was gonna draw a parallel, like a comparison to like white Argentinians that were, the children of the Nazis who escaped to Argentina and other places in Central and South America after the fall of the Third Reich. But I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I mean, ultimately, all I'm trying to say is these people were the benefiters of apartheid. They benefited from apartheid, from slavery, from colonialism, from imperialism, and it just means that. Think about this one. So we were just talking about like some very privileged people in the United States who are using that privilege to speak out for the people who are not at their level of success. Use that privilege and leverage it to help people of all kinds. So when you have literally the most possible privilege you could ever possibly have on this planet, aka being a beneficiary of like the feudal system and colonialism and empire and conquest, I feel like the level of responsibility you have to leverage that privilege is worlds above, people like in the worlds above the level that people in the current strikes in the United States are using their privilege. I mean, I don't know if we can even really imagine the kind of social, racial, and other kinds of privilege, economic privilege that you would have as someone who, within a generation or two, came to a place that they were not a natural-born citizen of, brought with their parents or raised by their parents there, benefited from the racist, white supremacist, imperialist kind of policies that absolutely destroyed so much of the quote-unquote third world, developing countries and the like. And then you just are a piece of shit for the rest of your life. I cannot tell you how much hatred is in my heart for these people and how much I wish to say all of the bad things I hope happen to them in their lifetime, but it will get me banned on Twitch. And I don't want that, not because I feel like censoring myself, but because I would hate for that to happen to my friend Sam. I would say all the fucking shit I want to say right now if it wasn't absolutely not my platform necessarily that I'm utilizing to be here with you today. So I'll keep those thoughts to myself out of respect for my buddy, but I just want you to know how badly I hope their lives go. I mean, I get banned on YouTube too. I mean, there's very few ways that Twitch will ban your account, but YouTube will not also. And now Patreon, we're talking. You want me to say all the wild shit I'm thinking, join our Patreon, and I'll start doing special episodes just for you there, where I incriminate myself. There we go. Well, Sam asks, if the right wing can say all these kinds of things, why can't we? And there are many reasons. There are many reasons, but among them is the idea that ultimately what is socially acceptable, the kind of hegemonic order of what is who is allowed to say what, who is allowed to be controversial and who isn't, and by and large, motherfuckers like Matt Walsh can say whatever they want about like how they believe trans people should be genocided out of existence, but I can't say that I want to eliminate the gene pool of Matt Walsh and his family. So I don't know. It's you would think that the person putting a target on the backs of an entire marginalized group in the United States and across the world, something that is a group of people that is less than 1% of the population, but still makes up not insignificant number of people. You think someone wishing them all to die would be restricted on platforms like that, hoping and trying to get legislators to get on board with the eradication of it. You'd think that would be more controversial than me saying I would beat Matt Walsh to death with my bare hands. But for some reason, it's not. I mean, I just want to do physical harm to restricted, limited few people who make this world much worse. And, oh, sure, that might be extreme. Comparatively, it is not. So, ultimately, the reason that they are allowed to say things in favor of genociding trans people, the awful racist things that they've been saying around the discussion of words. Sorry, 2 seconds. Affirmative action. Sorry, it was just like not working in my brain. Yeah, all of the conversations they've been having around affirmative action and just the general depravity with which these people provide disinformation and propagandize to young people and old people. I think the world would be a better place if, I was allowed to beat them with my bare hands. But they're allowed to say things like that. Well, I'm not allowed to say things on a larger scale like that, is because they are the society. They are looked at as more of a normative position. If you've noticed, there are no leftist politicians in the United States. There are no prominent left-wing organizations that are given regular media highlights, like organizations like the Daily Wire. The only time leftists get in the news is for the media to talk about how our riots would make MLK cry and shit like that. And it's because most of these media companies and the right wing hold the exact same views, even if these companies are supposedly liberal. We kind of went into this earlier. We have a one-party state, and that state is a neoliberal state. We don't have multiple political parties. We have one political party that gives us the option of two of the same aspects. So even as unpopular as a lot of their ideas are, they are still given the benefit of a quote-unquote normative position within our society, because that is because the people who hold those beliefs are the ones who are able to pull those kinds of strings, who are able to pull those levers. Meanwhile, most people who hold similar beliefs that I do are not part of the capitalist class, but are in fact mostly workers, but very, very few exceptions. Even most like wealthy or publicly visible leftists are not capitalists, but are in fact workers. People have been talking a lot of shit about Mark Ruffalo, who's been outspoken about his, arguably leftist ideology, and the things that he said publicly. A lot of shit talking on my man Paul, and I just want to say we love him for it. But shit, I forgot where I was going with that. Sorry. Yeah, ultimately, all I'm saying is that Mark Ruffalo is not necessarily. In fact, Mark Ruffalo is a worker. Most of his money comes from jobs that he has labored, not because he is a owner of some conglomerate that pulls in millions a year, but he is a laborer. Even if actors and media personalities get paid a whole lot of money, that does not necessarily make them a capitalist. I think that's a thing that a lot of people get wrong in discussions like this, is that just because you have, like, maybe even millions of dollars does not necessarily make you a capitalist. Many athletes and artists have made it over that $1 million marker while also still having to sell their labor to capitalists to make that kind of money. They are not the holders, the controllers of capital. They are laborers. So, anytime you hear weirdos call, like, the Son a capitalist or things like that to try and distract from his propaganda and point, fundamentally understand what that word means. Just going over. Yeah. Mark Ruffalo doesn't have a bunch of names. Dude is just, an actor. Nothing I'm coming in. I could be wrong, but as far as I can tell, it's not like Mark Ruffalo, owns some kind of chip company or something. Yeah, most artists are laborers, are workers. And just because they did very well does not make them capitalists. It doesn't make them, but it does make their statements when they are promoting leftist beliefs, when they are promoting equity and equality in work. They're looking out for laborers in their field and others. It does mean that they are showing solidarity across class. So they might belong to a wealthy upper class or whatever you want to, however you want to, whatever you want to call it. But they're using their, they're showing cross-class solidarity by supporting people who are at the lower end of the spectrum of wealth, especially in their industry. So that is something we need more of. We need more people who are wealthy laborers who are willing to stand up for the people who make significantly less than them to try and create a more equitable situation for all. All right. You know, I'm going to take a quick break. I will be back in just a few. Alrighty, friends, we are back to it. We are like a little scene, just trying to knock out some figures. I keep getting distracted by how angry I am. Took a second, took some deep breaths, uh, took some relaxing herbs, catch my breath. I'm in California. I don't know why I'm hiding in a creative language. It's literally just conditioning at this point. And the license. Yeah, I've had to lie about it for so long that I forget it's legal, and then I'm allowed to be like, I'm smoking weed. Yeah, that's what I was smoking herbs. Oh yeah, same saying. In California, where it's legal to smoke, I'm probably fine to even do it on stream. Like I said, it's like one of those things, especially like with I remember on the MySpace, way back on MySpace, I had a few photos of me smoking weed, and I just remember like ultimately people being like, you look trashy, and it's like, it's like getting all like weird about it. I just like, I don't know. There's just a lot of there's like a certain, there's always been a stigma around smoke, and I have had to be conscious about that for so long because of like, it being illegal. That I just, never really been able to, never really like been very public about it, I guess. This that goes for a lot of different things, so. Focus on. I remember that. I'm definitely have to do pencils on this one because I feel like a lot of these details big shot. Oops. Alright, well. That's good. Okay. We got some chains. Chains links being broken. On this plank. Going forward. Here I got unorthodox, starting with the foot drawing right now. I don't know why I'm doing it this way. Don't ask me. This bitch is clueless. Let's see if it pays off. Well, some people are bigger than other people. That's all. That's all that's happening here. That's yeah. Expert joint royalty. Yeah. Totally. Just like when me or Sam or other of our shorty comrades stand next to bigger comrades. That's what this looks like. You know what I thought would be really funny is if they did twins with oh my god. Oh wait. Is this we're not talking about startup companies right now. That doesn't matter. But yeah. It is like yeah. What's another way to it's like when you see like the symbiotic, not symbiotic, like mutually beneficial relationship between those birds and alligators. But the alligators will have their mouth open and the birds will clean their teeth. It's like that kind of stuff. It's like, you know, I can get in some places that bigger comrades can't. Take that how you will. Yeah. Oh, it is 6 o'clock, folks. We'll be wrapping up in the next hour, so let's see how far I can get into that. Oh, yeah. I didn't mean to do an announcement for this, but since last time I talked to you all about You Awakening a Strange Place, we booked a game. So this Thursday, we'll actually be playing a game of You Awaken a Strange Place, starring returning guests Zach and Sasha, and I haven't 100%ed on Ryan, but I'm pretty sure Ryan will be coming and playing with us. But also from a new player from our Discord, who goes by Metamongoose. But I actually asked their, I realized all I knew them by was Metamongoose, so I actually asked them their name or what they would like to go by. I think they also go by Ben. Hope I have that right. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, you'll have it available in our blog. You can watch it live on Thursday at 4:30 Pacific. Yeah, we're dealing with a bunch of different time zones in this one, so I had to remember which time zone I broadcasted from. And so 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. We'll be broadcasting it live. You can watch us there. You can, of course, watch it anytime after with the VODs on Twitch. Sam is saying with all of the editing they're doing right now, it might not come out right away on YouTube, but you can count on it showing up. You just follow YouTube and turn on the noties. You will know sooner than just about anybody else if you when we have that episode coming out. Yeah, thank you, Sam. Just clarifying, the VOD's going to have a lot. The live is going to have a lot of. It's going to be minimal as far as production goes, but if you watch us in the VOD on YouTube, it will have a lot of what Sam's been going for with the new kind of style we've got going on the channel. Definitely, you'll get a different experience either way when you watch it live than you do when you watch it on YouTube. Just further incentivizing you to watch both. Really long fire. It takes Scott seconds. I'm right. I think that's good. Oh, I forgot. Oh, it's fine. I think the table's protecting me. Oh yeah, my my pirouettes of colored pencils. Yeah, it's great. It gets a little frustrating when I get them real short. It is the exact kind of container I'm looking for when I'm looking to contain my colored pencils in a way because the thing they came with broke. No longer works. Oh, this was birthday. If the man were in a fire, he would have this kind of like much more. I mean, first of all, I'm doing this as a cartoon, or they would be almost silhouetted because of how bright the fire would be. But they got, they're gonna have like some orangey, reddish, yellowy kind of hues going on because of the fire's light. But that's also going to have to be kind of washed down into kind of a more neutral earthy tone to still feel like a skin tone. I found a tan. It's a tan Crayola, which is different than tan Prisma. No, yeah, I'm what I was looking for. It's like nice, like earthy mid-tone, something that would help darken up and kind of like the elements of the orange and yellow and red I've already put in, and to kind of help them. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's right. My black is basically just a tiny little nut that pulls you out the problem is. That's the big one where the problem is. Ah. Okay, still working on it. Hey! We found it. Okay. Oh, yeah, I guess kind of haven't talked about a lot of the stuff that I can follow up on any of the stuff I was talking about today. I guess kind of like close out the justifiable anger and whatnot. I just want to say there are all kinds of strike funds and other places to donate to if you want to support the workers, both in any of the industries that are currently striking, looking for strikes. Yeah, so if you want to contribute one way or another, you can also talk to your coworkers and start working towards efforts. I know I've been fired for this specifically at one point, so I know how dangerous this can be. But if you feel comfortable with the people you work with, definitely talk to them about your workplace situation. You shouldn't legally be allowed to be retaliated against, but lots of times companies will retaliate in ways that they can technically say had nothing to do with it, or statements about wanting to unionize the workplace. So just be careful and look to the experts who have done it already. I know that Christopher Smalls talked quite a bit about his process in becoming a recognized, or in starting the process for the Amazon labor union. Pretty publicly, so definitely, and there's so many experts in the field. I would defer to them on these topics. Look, there's not a lot of different stuff. Right. Yeah, I remember what I was gonna say. Yeah. So since most of the major movie companies are being struck right now, I gotta recommend to take your time and look up to try and they're not calling for boycotts or anything like that at the moment, and in fact most of the statements unions put out is trying to encourage people to continue consuming stuff that they love, because obviously it is the creative product of writers and actors striking currently. But it would not be a bad idea to start looking into independent or independent content creators on places like Twitch, and supporting us as well. None of us have it easy. The independents are in a different place than a lot of our struggles. So yeah, in many cases there is a ton, an absolute metric fuck ton of crossover as well. So not to mention independent media is still helping a lot of the same artists striking at the moment. Yeah, don't forget about that. Well, with all this going on, that none of the international media conglomerates are they're not the only place you can go for art. There is a incredible history of people who work outside of the system for any number of ethical reasons, or just out of necessity in many cases. So yeah, don't forget. Keep your eyes open. What's going on, buddy? You okay? Oh, you heard it? Yeah. He's cat made popcorn. Cat made popcorn, and these two are nuts about this stuff. Just absolutely go bananas up a fucking wall for some popcorn. And they don't eat it, they want to though. Desperate. And in fact, last time, or one of the last times we had popcorn, we weren't keeping them away from us while we were eating it. We were just like, hey, it's cute. They're just meowing and begging, and it's kind of silly, and we're just ignore them and just go about our business. But the moment one of us usually would be doing something else, so what was the popcorn and chopsticks, so we're not getting greased all over our or not or whatever. And I think I or Kat dropped a piece of popcorn, and literally before we could even pick it up, boom, Kat was on it, ate the popcorn right out from the moment it fell. So we have to be vigilant. That's why the little one is flying his eyes out just now. He wanted just a bit of popcorn, Mom. Just a little bit of popcorn. Yeah. That's exactly it. Because they love me. Okay, we're pretty much done here. There's a lot more that could be done into this, but that's gonna keep aligning with what we have out right now. And I'll either finish this off screen or I'll never work on it again. What'll happen? Power is yours if you have thoughts on that voting. Fucking let me know, alright? Tell me with it. I'm that's that a little bit. That. I don't think I did. Okay. Future Weston. First time this episode, my Future Weston. Yeah, we're in the last hour, and I only just know Future Weston problems. Okay. Oh, that growth, bitch. Future Weston is gonna bitch me fucking incredible. At least now it's less Future Weston. Oh, I think this happened. That's. I don't fucking care. It's a goddamn cartoon. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much exclusively what Future Weston does. This is exactly why I haven't finished any of the Pride drawings. Because Future Weston was like, you know what? Past Weston, fuck you. Fuck you. Give yourself so much to do on this piece of shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's why. That's how we got it. Okay. 6:35. If I get into more shit, it's gonna be a whole thing. So let's wrap it up. Yeah. I talked a little bit about this, but please tune in this Thursday. We've got a very exciting session of New Awakeners Strange Ways with some of the most talented people ever had on the program. It's going to be a lot of fun. May even be a little special guest from somebody that an old friend who will be visiting Las Vegas. But I have not been able to firm on this yet, so patience is requested. Oh, sorry, yeah. So, yeah. Tune in at 4:30 Pacific, 5:30. Oh shit, I forgot the name of that time. Colorado time. And 6:30 Central. That would make it 7:30. I've got all the time zones in the United States. Sorry if you're watching sideways today. I truly apologize. Those are the ones I know offhand. You're it, yeah. We'll have a new episode of New Waking Strange ready for you. coming at you. If you love improv games, silly ass motherfuckers, if you love a game that is completely unpredictable because literally do anything at any moment, come watch us play More Tennis Friends. We've got a talented bunch of guests. All of them is either TTRPGs, improv, or both. So it's going to be a fun one. But I also have another couple of You Awaken in a Strange Place episodes brewing, one of which is going to be a very special episode, a reunion of sorts of a few of, I don't want to give too much away, but especially because I have not been able to book this, scheduling it to my turn. It might not even happen, but I'm trying to schedule very special secret episode of You Awaken in a Strange Place. Some very busy people that I care very much about. So keep your eyes open. We'll have some more episodes for you soon. And I'm always looking for new players. If you want to be a player in a game You Awaken in a Strange Place, please join the Discord. Let us know on social media or whatever is most convenient for you. You bring the players, I'll run the game. That's just how it works. I mean, if we have no idea who you are, we'll probably do a little pre-screen just to make sure you're not some weird bad faith actors doing weird shit. But yeah, mostly I'm just here to have some fun. Yeah. So more games of You Awaken in a Strange Place coming soon. As always, make sure to tune in next week for a Tuesday at 3:30 for another episode of Live with Lava Sub, where I'll be doing some more doodles. Who knows what I'll be talking about next week? I sure as hell don't. I don't know what I'm eating for dinner. Don't expect me to plan things. I won't. We will all be disappointed in me. I would hate that. But yeah, ultimately, I think that's all that Nerdcrafty's got on the agenda for the moment. There's, we talked a little bit about Sam and Zach both having TTRPGs that are still in planning stages. We'll be having episodes of that out soon. Episodes of Iron Hearts, the last episode for this before we enter hiatus will be coming out soon. I think Sam said within the next couple weeks. Hopefully next couple weeks. Keep your eyes out for that. But yeah, I think that's just about it. Other than that, we got this cool little piece of propaganda I popped out. I like this one a lot. The other drawing kind of got complicated and I'm not in love with it yet, but we'll just keep working on it, see what happens. But I like this. I think this is nice. Even my shitty lettering isn't that bad. So yeah, support striking workers, no matter what industry they're in. We all deserve better wages. We all deserve more equitable pay. We all deserve better conditions in the workplace. And if I don't care where you live, that more than likely is not your situation at work right now. So, yeah, not only should we support the workers that are striking, we should be working towards motivating our coworkers and friends and family towards the idea of more workplace unions, joining unions, and making this a period of time in which unions are brought back into the workplace after years and years of deregulation and union busting that's been going on in the U.S. and abroad. So yeah, I think that's about it for me today. I hope you all take care of yourselves and take care of each other, and good dreams.